Hey, welcome back to another Black City Coffee Vlog. In this video, I am celebrating. We are featured on Hacea's Roaster Spotlight for July. So cool. I remember seeing other roasters a part of this, and I was like, cool, like maybe one day I'll be good enough to be featured or whatever it is. So yeah, I was super honored. I feel like it's a validation, even though we don't need to be validated. We should just be okay. But with what we're producing and what for anyway, right? If I'm not like running this like serious roaster, I'm a home roaster. But it's still really, really, really nice. And I think a lot of people, even if you're roasting at home or you're roasting for your career, like as a job or whatever, a roaster wants to know that they're doing a good job. And these are just one of the tiny ways in which we can get that kind of validation. So I'm so honored and like excited to be featured here. So if you go to Hacea's website, if you go under merchandise, you can find it under Roaster Spotlight. And every month they basically will share a roaster that they want to feature. Most likely they buy green from Hacea, so that's kind of like a prereq. So I guess the list is kind of biased. But be that as it may, the bias comes from a good place. I love the people over at Hacea Coffee. They're not just some random people. I've taken all their courses, like on the Learn. You go to the Learn. And there's all these like coffee classes. I've done all of these. Even the brewing one, that was really informative. You think brewing is just brewing and you know how to brew. There's so much other kind of like side information that feeds into the main idea of brewing, which still informs you, I think, as a roaster and as somebody who appreciates coffee. So it's pretty cool. So on the feature for July, I'm the roaster for it. So what they do is they'll interview you. So I thought I did a nice little, written interview here, and they just asked me questions here. But I thought it would be cool to give like the video version of it, because people are always subscribing, and even though that doesn't always translate into views, I'm always getting subscribers. So, which is weird because of the whole YouTube algorithm, and I'm not very good at being a YouTuber. I mean, I'm not a YouTuber, but I don't think the growth in my subscribers is translating to my views. So for the people who come on and maybe are new to me and everything, I wanted to do like an updated thing of that based on the questions that they asked me. Okay, so we'll just do the video version of this little interview. And you can check this out at haceacoffee.com/roaster spotlight. So the first question was, when was your business established? So we're putting an asterisk on the word business. You guys know that, yes, this is still a business technically. I'm still selling coffee, but you may have seen that video, why I'm getting out of the coffee business. And yes, that all of the reasons in this video are true, in that it was very difficult for me to quote unquote like stop pursuing coffee as a career. I'm still selling coffee to friends and family, to random people who just find me on Google, to you guys who are roasters and want to check out what I'm roasting and possibly you're comparing it to your roast. Things like that. So I'm still doing that, and you still need to be legit for all intents and purposes to sell coffee online. So I still have all these licenses and everything, seller's permits, paying for Shopify like this. But when was your business established? So I officially filed for, it's just a sole proprietorship at this point. I was going to take it into an LLC if we were to like pursue it as a career last year, which would have been 2021. But in 2022, when I made the decision to not pursue coffee as a career because of all the reasons in that video, yeah, we just stayed as a sole proprietor. We stayed small. That's all. Everybody starts at this point of being a sole proprietor. This is not loading. And then whenever you get that, like, okay, I'm making enough money, we need to have more protection for our company, I don't want to lose certain things and assets attached to my company or my business. So that's when you start filing for an LLC or a incorporated, like a small incorporated business or something like that, whatever. Okay, so I filed that back in July 2020. So I still hold all those licenses till today. What led you to coffee roasting? What led me to coffee roasting? Well, it was this. I'll show you. That's this video right here. Hot Top 2K Plus Artisan, very thorough review. Yeah, it's a long video. The first video I made, roasting on a hot top, and we got into coffee because I was spending about $20 on a bag of coffee, specialty coffee, and my husband was like, you need to save money. Could you maybe think about roasting your own? I think people roast their own coffee. And I was like, what? I'm not going to do that. I thought that would be too hard. And he kept kind of pushing me towards it. And also kind of like dangling this carrot, like, hey, this could be something that you could do and lead us in. And it could be our scalable business. At the time we were talking about this, we wanted to escape wedding photography. We wanted a scalable product versus a non-scalable product, okay? Just like bare bones of it, honestly. And I was like, I don't know. Like, in my heart of hearts, I secretly really loved coffee. It was a secret, like, passion of mine, a secret dream. And I take it very personal with coffee. So I wasn't really, I didn't want to take it very lightly. The fact that, he was kind of like trying to mix this business with this pleasure, right? But that's who we are as entrepreneurs. We don't do anything if we don't love it. We always try to infuse our entrepreneurial vibe on things, that we've done that for all the time that we've been together. So it was just kind of like a natural, like, how do we, entrepreneurs are always trying to maximize everything, always trying to be productive. And I was like, you know what, if I'm going to do this, I want to do it right, quote unquote, right. Like, what does that mean? For me, that meant like, I want to research how to actually mimic a big boy roaster. So if we play this back, I was actually talking about that. I was talking about how this tiny little drum roaster was the miniature version of like a big boy roaster in like the Starbucks Reserve. And that's how like a real business does it, So I was like, I want to see what the miniature version of that is, even though this was an electric roaster and most of those drum roasters are gas, right? So that's, as best parallel as I could make. And it was pretty too. And you could monitor your roasts with a roasting software. That was a big deal. Like back in the day, it was like, not if you were a home roaster, you had your little maybe Gene Cafe or your popcorn roaster or whatever. It's very rudimentary, right? Like this was getting serious and pricey and technical, You had to be technical and savvy with the computer. Like I was working with a Mac. At the time, you were working with free software, Artisan, which always had bugs. It always had something wrong. And then you're working with roasting, which y'all know, or if you didn't know, is not a perfect science. It's a mix between science and art. And so with all that being said and the challenge of that, I really fell in love with it. And that's really what led to me roasting coffee, was the idea of maybe turning it into a business. And then fortunately, I really fell in love with the art of roasting. This was my first video with coffee, and it turned out that not a lot of people were making content on it, so it got a good amount of attention. And that started just this like practice for me to record and document what I was doing and learning and then sharing it with other people. And it helped me learn, If anything, like the community and all that stuff and the cool friends that I made through coffee, that's like all cherries on top. But for me, like, it really helps me to talk about it on camera oddly enough, and then record it, make content out of it. And that's how I like in turn reinforce learning and teaching myself, if that makes sense. Okay, so what's been the biggest challenge in your roasting journey? The biggest challenge for me, I didn't write this, but now that I'm kind of like talking about it, has been imposter syndrome. Like just not having the confidence, the leadership to I think be successful in coffee. Like I don't have that right now, and I always feel like I'm struggling with it. I always feel like I'm playing down myself, and I like logically know that. I logically know that I've I just saw I logically know that my coffee is good. But even that, I like to say that even though I know that's true, and I'm proud of what I've done in coffee. For some reason, I have a hard time, like for one believing in it, and then getting people to like, or really communicating that to other people, I guess. Being like so confident that I don't let what anybody says, anybody criticizing or judging my coffee, like get to me. I know that's kind of like a high standard, but like I really wish things did not affect me, like a stupid comment or a stupid, a phrase, a question even. I feel very insecure about it. I don't feel secure. I feel insecure. I don't feel confident. I feel like I have imposter syndrome with the coffee for some reason. There are times when I'm like, yeah, my coffee is great. My coffee's good. I don't know if I would say great, but I'd say my coffee is good. And I have a hard time with that. I feel like that's the hardest part. Like feeling good enough. And I feel even ashamed and embarrassed and weak to say all that, you know? I would like to just be very confident and say that nothing bothers me, and I just roast and I do what I do. And for the most part, that's what I do. Even though on the inside, I don't feel that way. You know, I'm always making content. I'm always recording. I'm always saying something that I believe. And then, like in my videos and everything, like how I roast and my style and all that stuff, and the philosophy that I've created for myself. And I like I know it logically, but like I don't know, in a weird way, I kind of like don't believe it. I don't know. I can't really put words to it. Okay, let's move on. That's too hard. What has been the most exciting part of your roasting journey? Yeah, the most exciting part has been the clarity that I got out of my roasting class at Clatch. There's been many exciting parts, like the first time you drop a coffee, your first roast on one machine, and then your first roast on a second machine. Those are really exciting. But I'd say like the moment that really stuck with me was when I did my class with Clatch. I tasted my coffee, and I was like, and I tasted their coffee, and from taste alone, not from origin, not from style of roasting or anything, but from taste alone, I could tell, and I could see point blank what I was doing was not the way I wanted to roast coffee. But because I was taking this class, because I had a very good mentor, and he was encouraging me to develop my own philosophies and just see what was the evidence in front of me. I developed my own philosophy from that, which is, it's based on what I learned there. But based on what I tasted in the cup, I began to learn and see a clear path of how to get to where I wanted to go. That was so exciting. It was like, oh shit, like I'm not making the coffee I want to make, but I feel like I know how to get there. The path is laid out. All I got to do is walk it, and I could walk it at my own pace. the pressure didn't seem so crazy, and that there's this insane pressure I think that roasters maybe go through in the beginning, which is like you so want to do your best. You want to do a good job. You don't want to waste the green, the money you spent. You want to respect and honor what the farmers and all the people who put their hands on that coffee to get to you. To now you're roasting it. Now you're gonna bring all these flavors out, right? They're there. Now you got to bring them out. It's such a heart-wrenching time, you know? Like, oh, I just want to do my best. And sometimes, most of the time, you know, when you're learning, it doesn't work out like that. So there's a lot of failing. There's a lot of getting humbled. And then allowing somebody to taste it and give you their feedback. You're like, oh. It's such a labor of love and a labor of the heart. You put so much time and effort and energy into it to learn how to do it and to learn how to present it in its best way, you know. So yeah, I just really my heart goes out to like just new roasters who are maybe failing at something, whatever it is, you know, because I know how much your heart's in it, you know. What's your favorite coffee origin? I put Colombia in there, but I don't really have a favorite. I should have just wrote I chase flavors, not origins. I've said that before. I think it's too, especially as a roaster, shouldn't be really caught up in origins and getting too attached to certain origins. I mean, as a roaster, I think we should all be, you know, experienced or exposed to all different kinds of origins and processes, and just to see. And but you'll definitely just develop your own preferences and stuff like that. So you know, I said Colombia, and that's just because, like, with the limited exposure that I've had, I've just tasted some really great coffees out of Colombia with all of the experimental fun stuff that they're doing over there. And so it's a great origin. Plus, it's an innovative and experimental processing coffee culture. With the farmers, you know, so I think that's really exciting, and then we get to roast that and taste that, and so exciting. So yeah, I'm not even carrying any Colombia right now, but when I get the money, and like not really when I get the money, but it's like when I feel compelled to carry a special bean, I'm often looking at Colombia. What do you want people to know about what you're doing? What do I want people to know? I think the YouTube is cool. I know that they are long. But I think what I'm ultimately trying to do, now that I'm not pursuing coffee as a career, at least right now, is that I'm documenting what I'm doing. I think I'm sharing another side of the coffee industry. I think I do add my very small slice of the pie to the coffee community, and that it's different. It's not about reviews. It's not about gadgets. Sometimes we get really like emotional and whatnot. I think my perspective is unique. And I try to be as transparent as possible, which I know sacrifices entertainment. But I don't know. I'm just not like a dance monkey dance kind of gal, even though I feel like there is a performer in me. There could be. I think maybe I'm a little tired right now. A little burnt out, but the passion and the love of coffee always gets me to turn on the camera, like right now, and to talk shop about coffee and to talk about it. Like I truly have joy in these moments, like just making the content, working through things that I've thought about maybe in a fleeting moment when I was cupping or I was roasting, but I have to actually think about it and be conscious about what I'm saying and now putting it on camera for the world to see. All like 500 of you who actually watch, or less than that most of the time, right? So even though the algorithm is like really screwing me on the ratios of that. But yeah, okay, so yeah, I just want people to know that I'm on YouTube. I document what I do. I try to roast coffees that have great flavors, that are mostly light roasted coffees. But I'm looking for balance. I'm looking for excitement and pop in the cup. And I do try to find something that tastes unique and exciting to me. You know, I have to be excited by it. So I'm always cupping. I'm always trying to articulate what I'm saying and share that. And I think it's important to just keep building those bridges of like, kind of distilling what I'm loving and learning in specialty coffee as a roaster, like my perspective as a roaster, like not a barista, like not a buyer, like not a gadget person, not like an aesthetically super pretty channel or whatever. Like I feel like I'm in my own category, which is good. I'm definitely not I don't look at anything else. I try to have my own opinions and my own sort of distillations of what I'm learning, and just try to share it and hopefully inspire somebody else who's maybe needs to hear or see that, whatever that is. Like it could be a myriad of things. I just know that I'm an avid consumer of YouTube, and sometimes when I listen to a certain video, whether it's like health related, fitness related, mental health related, coffee related, gadget related, like sometimes I'll just need to hear or see a certain thing to get me to take action in my own life. And I think that's a great sort of like ball to get rolling, you know? Okay. All right, so that's it. This is my first video on coffee, so if you didn't see that one, you could check that out if you're into the hot top and stuff. But yeah, thank you so much to Hacea Coffee for featuring not only Black City Coffee as part of your Roaster Spotlight, but also featuring Pioneer, the most exciting coffee on the site right now from Costa Rica. This is a natural process coffee, very tasty, very layered in its tasting notes. I think so anyway. And if you were to compare it to another coffee on the site, which is Tiger Mountain, Pioneer is more acidic and bright and interesting and complex. And Tiger Mountain's definitely a more classic, balanced cup. Still got good acidity. I roasted a little bit darker. I think it shines there. Otherwise, it starts to taste a little too raw and green and stuff. It's more like a light plus, city plus. And that's Tiger Mountain. So if you like something a little bit more sweeter, you can go for that one. If you're here for the specialty coffee and the layered tasting notes, yeah, you could try the Pioneer. Yeah. All right, cool. So that was fun. Thank you so much again, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.